my star friends, it's Danny with Sagittarius. Today we're going to be doing a reading for Scorpio. I have already pulled out the cards because I needed to really sit with them for a second. There was heavy energy going on, and this is my first Scorpio video. I know this looks ridiculous, but hopefully the sound quality makes up for it. We've come a long way. Now we have a little camp video inside of a big video, so making progress, making moves. And happy birthday, Scorpios. I did pull a couple oracle cards just now. There is a message about love in here, unconditional love. Self-love is going to be a big part of this reading. Self-love, oneness, passion, affection, attraction, but mostly self-love is going to be a big part of this. But there is also someone likes you. Love is blooming. Isn't that weird that two love cards got pulled out? So if that isn't a message, I don't know what is. Okay, let's get started. Right out the gate, we have Ace of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, and Justice. These two are in reversal, but let's look at this because this is going to be more of your past energy, but it's going to be an influence on what's going on in today. So there is someone or something that you were once super excited about. There was this spark of energy. There was a lot of excitement, but there was also a lot of validation going on. You felt like you were getting enough attention from this person. You were feeling really supported, really validated. You felt like you were getting everything you needed. So there was this excitement and this validation going on. But as time moved forward, we have this new energy here with the Seven of Wands and this Justice. I suspect, because this just seems to be the case with all relationships or even situations, if this is resonating for you in that way. So somewhere along the way, we usually mess up. We cheat, or we talk to an ex, or we do something bad. And that something that happens in the beginning of a relationship can just keep going and going and going and going. It's like a repeated argument that never seems to end. So there's that energy here, like you feel like you've been defending yourself for so long that it's time for there to be like justice. Things feel unbalanced. You feel like you've been defending yourself over this mistake for way longer than it's worth. Like you don't deserve all the repercussions that you're receiving. And not only that, do you feel like it's unfair that you're still having to be so defensive over this? If you look at this picture, it's like these guys pointing their, I don't know, feather pens at him. But so you feel like you've been defensive over this for a long time. But not only that, you really miss the validation that you once used to get. Like you used to feel really supported, and you miss that energy a lot. Now, that constant like nagging or feeling like you're having to defend yourself over something that happened a long time ago that you don't feel like you should have to keep defending yourself about, it's starting to really get to you. And we see that with this Queen of Wands energy. When we see the Queen of Wands, especially when it's in a reversal, it's like the reversed energy of a regular queen. Like she's a fiery queen. She's the Queen of Wands. She's somebody who's really passionate, who believes in herself, who knows who she is. We have it in a reversal here. So it's almost like this constant nagging is starting to make you question like who you really are. Well, all the things that they're saying to you, all these negative things that you're hearing, you're starting to wonder if that's actually who you are. You're starting to lose, lose who you used to be, that used to have that spark, that confidence about you, and you've lost that. Then we have the Hermit here, and notice how the Hermit is falling on top of this Six of Wands, and it isn't a reversal. This is Virgo energy, but we have it in a reversal here. So that validation that you used to get so much that you miss, and now you're only hearing negative things about yourself, has made you withdraw yourself, like emotionally distancing yourself. Maybe you're coming off as cold or isolated, and you're probably hearing about that too. And you're like, dang, can I hear something nice for once? Something nice or positive, please. So that's making you withdraw a lot. And the reason that you're coming off really cold and withdrawn and like you don't care. You're having that energy, which is so Scorpio, because you're actually hurt. This constant having to defend yourself is causing a lot of, um, when we see the Queen of Swords in a reversal, it's like overly emotional. Like thinking with emotions instead of logic. So we have her there, and that is your energy. Notice how we've got the two queens with the hermit in the middle. Hold on one second. We've got the two queens with the hermit in the middle. So this self-isolation is really due to these two Queen of Wands and Queen of Swords, this energy. Feeling like you've lost your spark, feeling like you've lost who you really are, kind of really, up in your head about it, overly emotional. You're not really seeing the logic behind all this self-isolation or this coldness. At times you feel like, yeah, maybe I could show up better, but it's being driven by the fact that you're actually really deeply hurt. You're hurt by this person, you're hurt by this situation, and that's why you've withdrawn yourself. And you've also lost touch of this spark that you used to have. Now we have the devil. What's crazy is, we'll get into this a little bit more later, we have the Justice here, the Devil here, and then we have the World. All major arcana cards that are in a reversal. So that is going to be a big deal. At the very end, we're going to go ahead and clarify them each, going down hot dog style instead of hamburger style. Okay, so we have the Devil here. This is representing toxic behavior, but because it's in a reversal here, it's almost like you, especially because it's on the Justice, it's like you feel like it's not fair for you to be treated because of something you did or a person you used to be, because you have grown a lot since then and you have changed and you have showed up. You're not showing up as this devil anymore. You have like better energy about you, so you feel like it's really unfair. So you've moved away from those toxic habits that you used to have, and that's another reason why we're seeing that justice there, that unfairness. Well, this tension that's happening right here that we just went over, you're gonna have a tower moment. It's either just happened or it's about to happen. You cannot stay in this energy for very long, Scorpio. Scorpios are very passionate, very fiery, and you're gonna have, and even though they're not a fire sign, it's crazy to me because they have that energy. You know what I mean? But I think it's because you guys maybe aren't so harsh at first. Like, you take a moment to gather yourself. But either way, Scorpio, this is going to have a tower moment. Everything's going to come. There's either going to be a truth bomb revealed to you, because sometimes when somebody's constantly accusing you or attacking you of something, it's because they're doing it themselves. So there is going to be this huge tower moment. But this tower moment is not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a huge, shocking moment, something being revealed to you that you didn't know before, and it's going to feel like chaos. But notice that smoke from the top of this tower is blowing into the Empress. Major Arcana card that is going to be nurturing and empowering. You're going to be reclaiming this energy that you lost a while ago. Remember, we have that Hermit between these two queens in a reversal. Well, now there's gonna be something that's revealed to you, some major truth, or there's gonna be some news dropped on you that's gonna cause this tower moment. All this energy, this self-doubt, this overly emotional, this unfairness that you're being treated, you're gonna have this growth moment, major transformation. I think it is so cool that smoke is blowing over her. You can even see the trees blowing in the background, but she is sitting there on her throne. And not only that, now we have King of Swords. King of Swords is showing up here on top of, mind you, that defensive energy and this reversed Queen of Swords, this over emotional. This is you really finding yourself. After this information is revealed to you, after you have this tower moment, it could be a major argument, it could be a big explosive moment, it could just be you finally having a good cry. Whatever it is, there's going to be this moment of clarity that comes after that. This is literally representing the energy you're going to have after. The Empress and the King of Swords. You're going to feel very nurtured and empowered, and like you can start again. There's going to be this moment of wanting to grow and knowing exactly how to grow. That's really beautiful energy together. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Remember I told you there was this world card in reversal. And it was on top of this devil here. Because there is still something that has not come to a complete end. There is a cycle that has not completely ended. So you're going to have this moment of clarity, and you're going to have this moment of calm after the storm where you realize exactly what you need to do and who you are, and the best way to have this cycle end is to leave all of those old emotions in the past. And that will make more sense after we clarify the next line. Wheel of Fortune, another major arcana card. And because there were so many major arcana cards in this reading, that's one of the reasons I decided to just stop and just meditate on it. Because I was just like, wow, 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 crazy. And then we have the Hangman also. But we have this Wheel of Fortune here. It's in a reversal. It's almost like the cycle hasn't completely ended. You have this moment of like a shocking revelation, right? This shocking moment. And you have this beautiful energy following it, but you're still hanging on to something. This is either you hanging on to a toxic person or you're hanging on to an old toxic habit. So you're going to have this moment where you realize, oh my gosh, I need to break up with this person, or I need to quit drinking, or I need to leave this job, or I need to apply over here. You're going to have this moment where you realize everything you need to do, but you still hang on to the old. You still hang on to the old, and you're still hanging on to a lot of those old feelings. And it could be for a lot of you that you're still hanging on to just guilt about whatever you did in the beginning of this relationship or situation. There's this guilt that you're hanging on to. You're not really forgiving yourself all the way. And then we have the Hangman, which is all about perspective. And because we have the Wheel of Fortune and the Hangman right here next to each other, this is all about perspective, letting go of an old way that you used to look at things and moving on with a new way to look at things. And the Empress was sitting on top of this Hangman, which is about regrowth after the storm. You don't want to have this tower moment again. If you know that you need to change something or look at things a different way or let go of old guilty feelings or a toxic habit. I know I like to drink alcohol. That could be my devil. Well, you have this moment of clarity. You know what you need to do, but there's still this perspective that you're holding on to that's really going to make it difficult for you. And then we have the Seven of Cups here. This is a message that could represent a lot of options, a lot of opportunities, but be careful because with the Seven of Cups, even if something seems like a really great opportunity or a really great option, there's a lot of illusions that come with the Seven of Cups. Things are not necessarily as they seem. So, this, especially because it's falling on top of that reversed Queen of Swords and then that King of Swords, which, remember, all were rooted in the Seven of Wands, this defensive or feeling like you've had to keep fighting and fighting and fighting, or feeling like you need to keep being defensive over something, but you're tired of it, which led to a lot of overwhelming emotions that were clouding your judgment. And what I say by clouding your judgment is if you feel like you've been defending yourself for so long and everything is building up to that tower moment, emotions were really high for you. You were pretending they weren't with this hermit. You were really internalizing all of that, but you could have been doing something passive aggressive, or maybe you reached a boiling point where you called somebody out a name. You know, there was emotions were running high, but you were pretending they weren't. And then there's something that you lean on, some sort of crutch that you lean on. And it could just be feeling guilty, it could be drinking, it is something toxic that you're holding on to. And even after you have this tower moment, you don't let go of that toxic habit. There's still a cycle that needs to end, and there's a perspective that you need to change. And the real message here is to reflect on that moment after the storm where you had the Empress and you had the King of Swords and you had this realization of exactly what you need to do. Go back to that. It hasn't happened yet, but when it happens, stay there. And because you're gonna have this it's gonna be hard to give it up. And then to be careful about illusions and not to jump on the next pretty shiny thing, or to you're going to be presented with a lot of different options or a lot of different messages. You're going to feel confused. But there is also this message here with Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles here, which is saying the right option for you and the best opportunity for you is going to be one that isn't as obvious. So for some of you, just for example, if this tower moment is a breakup, you realize that this person is cheating on you, or they're still being defensive over something because they're actually doing something wrong to you. You have this tower moment, you have this moment of clarity that you need to move on, but you still want to hang on to the ex and not let it go. You need to have this perspective of the situation wasn't right for you, or it wouldn't have been making you feel that way in the first place. And then when you have all these new shiny new things or all these new opportunities and options, to be really careful, because not all of them are going to be right for you. The one that actually is right for you. And that could be why we had this I like you card, right? Because maybe your toxic habit is, I don't know, flirting with people when you're arguing with your partner, right? And you have the new shiny people that come in. Be careful, because Ace of Pentacles, especially in reversal, is literally a picture of don't just pick up the next shiny new coin because it's shiny and you feel bad, because that could be the toxic behavior that you're fighting with to begin with. So, because of all the major arcana cards, and I always say this when I'm reading, major arcana cards are major energy shifts, they're major life changing, but they can also be a little bit vague, right? Because it's a major energy shifts, and however many people watch this, could just be 7 or it could be 1,000. I never know. You just take what resonates with you and leave what doesn't. So there could be some vagueness here, but there's going to be these precise moments that will, especially with the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Wands energy, that feeling is going to feel very precise. So you're going to know exactly what's making you feel that way. Or maybe you don't know. And maybe you need to hear this message because you need to sit down and go, why do I feel like I have lost sight of who I really am? Why do I feel like I'm acting out of character? It's because I'm overly emotional, but why? And that why will lead you back to that reversed justice that will help you really figure out how you need to move forward and what you need to let go of to have this world come to a completion, because that is going to be so transformative for you, especially because it's Scorpio season. Like, happy freaking birthday also. Anyways, this is my first Scorpio reading. I always appreciate feedback. It helps a lot to know if something's resonating. If you could post the date and time that you're watching this, that helps me a lot too, because then I know who's watching it, who's listening. If you want to put, if you have a Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio rising, that's helpful too, so I know who's watching. Anyways, hope something resonated in here. Hope you were able to get some advice. I hope you were able to ignore my weird microphone. But anyways, happy birthday, guys, and have a great day.